All right, welcome one and all to our second part, our conclusionary episode to the latest Gents challenge that went down. All right, as you might recall,
Yeah,
last time Alec was not a participant because he did not hit enter.
yeah. I was a bad boy. I fell asleep before I hit enter, and in fact, it's now to my ultimate shame because I wasn't around to potentially make history with this whole thing.
It's kind of,
I was like, what the
yeah,
heck, man?
something poetic
What's
about
up
it.
with that?
It's like you missed it just barely. Maybe that's what it took for us to be 100%.
That's that's what it took. It took getting rid of me. It took kicking the host of this the co-host of this video.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be worse. Like, I feel like I've had similar situations like that, but with like submitting like a paper for like for
Mm.
like school, just like pass out right before you're about to send it. Uh,
Oh,
it's
that's rough.
it could have been worse, but so yeah, the show had to go on, unfortunately, and but but yeah, like we mentioned, we ended up with the first time in Gents Challenge history. I think period. I think it's safe to
Yeah, I
say
think I think
period.
because I think pre-recording of the results days back when Andy was doing the like leading it
Yeah.
every time. I don't think there was ever 100% completion because it was a lot more hardcore back then too, where like there would be all these stipulations you'd have to make people do when they're beating the game in his version of it. So
Right, and it wasn't even
um,
as. In some ways, I mean, it was a different community aspect to it, but it's in some ways not
mm.
as tight knit as like a Discord group is. So you could literally like sign up and then just fall off the face of the earth the next 3 months,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
and no one would bat an eye at it. But and we would have like random people joining in like those challenges that like no one really knew, and they'd come and go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so nothing to sneeze at. I think it's like there was more Supreme Gents than Gents also. So somehow, in a twisted turn of fate, me as a gent, I'm a lower class citizen of all
Yeah.
the
What the
participants.
heck? What's going on with
Like,
that, huh?
I did my due diligence, and it's just not enough these days. These kids, they're supreme and left and right. Can't keep up.
Yeah, they wear those Supreme shirts, right?
Yeah, but yeah. So you'll recall my games were Kingdom Hearts. I have the Kingdom Hearts all in one package here, and
It's a great collection of the games there.
then my other game was Saints Row the Third, which I did not get to. Um, which I could have theoretically, but I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, all right, Kingdom Hearts was the poetic one. The whole theme of the challenge this time around was the choose your own adventure. Gents challenge was really cool. I wouldn't be surprised
Hmm.
if we did it again, where basically everyone got to pick their own theme for their lists. And
It's so
mine,
cool. I loved it.
yeah,
So cool. I'm so glad that I got to participate alongside everybody.
mine was the Redemption Gents challenge. So it was all games that were on previous Gents challenge lists of mine that I either started and didn't finish or didn't even start at all. And
Mm.
Kingdom Hearts is one that I think I actually was assigned a couple different times in past Gents challenges, and it just never quite got through it. I had to keep replaying these awful beginning parts of the game that I did not want to play. Again, like, oh yeah, I get to go see Tarzan again. It's
I was gonna be like worst to me is the Alice in Wonderland. I'm not a Wonderland fan.
yeah,
It's short, but it's just like it just
we'll get
uh
into it. I mean,
very frustrating.
the sad part is also was that the last challenge I did it, and I made significant progress. I forget how many hours it was, but it was a good amount of
Mm.
hours. I had beaten Ursula at this point, which is like one of the bosses everybody said was one of the most pain in the ass
It's
ones at the time.
Yeah, I mean it's a big skill check, I would say. I think that's like up until the Riku fight in Hollow Bastion, I would say that's like the Ursula fight I would say might be the hardest considered the hardest boss in the game. So
Yeah, for me, it
um
was the absolute hell at the end. That was
yeah.
like just let it end. But
the end of the world boss fight, the big huge thing,
yeah, with his freaking electrical orbs that or
the
keep
Ansem ship.
it was just hell. But yeah,
Yeah.
so overall, I talked about it on the forum. I did a little backlogged review and everything. Um,
Mm,
it's not like my favorite game in the world. It's to me, it's like it was just okay. Honestly,
yeah.
I can see. It's at the same time, it's one I would be eager to play future games with because I do see there's like some untapped potential there and potential for it to get better. But for me, this game by itself, I'm like nothing to write home about personally, and I'm sorry to say that, but I said that a lot of the worlds felt like not they felt like underdeveloped a little bit, and then half of the worlds that were just kind of annoying personally for me to get through. They weren't even like fun to me. I didn't like the
Yeah.
Tarzan one. I didn't like the Alice in Wonderland one. What other ones? The Little Mermaid one. Um,
Yeah, Little Mermaid one's a little weird just because of the controls. The what about Monstro? Oh, how about Monstro?
Monsters is okay. It's okay.
Really? You're okay with every single room looking exactly the same and getting lost? Because every
That
room looks exactly the
ironically that was one of
same.
the ones I had the least trouble navigating. Like the other
So
ones were annoying for me that I mentioned.
so here's the thing. I actually Monster is one of those ones that's just kind of okay for me, and the reason why is because I love the battle theme there.
Hmm.
That's one of my favorite battle themes in the whole series. I love that theme. Um, and to me, like most of that world is just fighting in confined spaces, and I actually really like that. Like to me, the combat's the most engaging part of the game anyway.
Hmm.
Um, Probably especially of the first one. I would say two is when it's like really gets to shine a lot more. But like in terms of like, I'm not the biggest fan of the platforming of the game. Um,
Right. Yeah.
and I mean, so it's maybe it's not totally fair to say that the battle is the most engaging part of the game. I mean, it is the gameplay of the game, I guess. So I guess that does make sense. But um, I don't know. I like the combat. I've always liked the combat in the Kingdom Hearts games a lot, and the first game, even that's a little bit more rudimentary. Um, it's I like it,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm okay with the monster thing. Halloween Town is another one that I actually also really like and don't mind.
Halloween Town's
Um,
cool aesthetically, but still,
yeah,
even then, like the town itself, there's not really much to it.
yeah,
I don't know exactly how the future games are if that's still not a priority or not. But I like when there's like towns are more I don't know how do you say it, lively, and there's more to do in like an actual town.
yeah. You're
But
probably going to be a little disappointed
yeah,
in that regard. I would say worlds get bigger, but I wouldn't necessarily say there's always like tons and tons of stuff to do in them outside of engaging in the combat.
okay.
But the combat gets more fun. It gets crazy fleshed out in two, especially. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think there's more to keep you engaged. I would say in later games, there's like extra things to collect. They do a better job of tracking like the treasure chests and stuff like that. Um, and so there's like more things for you to be like trying to kind of trying to keep you engaged in sort of like a collector sort of mindset to be like, oh, there's all these little things to interact with around the environment and things like that. So,
Hmm.
um, the one thing about one that I feel like later games kind of lose a little bit more sight of is that the first game feels more like an RPG. I would say in a lot of ways. Like it's still action based,
Hmm.
um, but a lot more of the later games have more action feel. I don't know. Like, how did you get like any sort of like that kind of feel, or did it feel more like an action game to you? I guess.
Um, I got the feel. It's not generally the kind of RPG I go for. Like this kind of
Hmm.
action based RPG. But it gets more of the feeling like you really get the PS2 era vibe from that game, especially. It's like feels old school in its style, but yeah, I tend not to really like the action RPGs as much. But there's certain ones like the Tales games and ones like that. But
Yeah.
generally, I tend to like turn-based ones better. But it's
Yeah.
personal opinion.
Sure.
Also, earlier, pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. I had the wrong background on, which is like a little spoiler for an upcoming video. I had a Super Mario
Oh.
RPG background to start the video,
Oh.
and I said I switched
Oh.
it to the right one. But
Oh, you get to look forward to that, I
that's
guess,
more my type
coming
of
up.
RPG, baby. All right.
Yeah, that is an RPG. Yeah, it is. That's very turn based.
But I mean, obviously, it
um,
is worth saying that the whole novelty of Kingdom Hearts is, we've gotten so used to it, but it really is such a weird and like, um, unexpected thing that we ever got this game to begin with, right? It's like Final Fantasy characters
yeah,
and Disney characters and mixed together in RPG. That by itself, we're just used to it now. Kingdom Hearts just exists, like this is a thing, but that's in itself. I like some weird, and it's pretty weird. The story I didn't really care about, but obviously I know is known for being very out there, and
oh, yeah. But the first game is so simple. It's actually like a breath of fresh air when you're in the weeds of like Kingdom Hearts like lore
okay, well,
nonsense. But you go back and you play the first game, you're like, oh man, this is it's so quaint how much sense this makes.
okay, yeah, it's not the most out
So
there right now, but I will say it's
yeah.
very. I found Sword to be very corny, very cheesy boy.
He is. It's very
Like
Disney.
he's
He
like,
feels very Disney.
I learned that like love can power me. It's something about it's like friendship and love.
Yeah.
Drives everything in the
Deep,
world. It's
I
like
know now deep down in every heart there's a light that never goes out.
absolutely, and he's spitting with that too.
There's some wholesome. There's just
Yeah,
wholesome Disney-ish vibes, which is
yeah.
interesting because the story was all handled by Square
Hmm.
Enix. They did all that stuff. So
It's funny how the Final Fantasy characters are just kind of there, right? They're just like the
they're like a
side
support group.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, why? Like these just as easily could have been any other characters. They didn't need to be Final Fantasy characters, but this is what we're doing. All right.
Cloud. There's Cloud. You're fighting with him. You're fighting him, and then you're fighting with him. It's great.
Yeah.
Old Cloud Strife. Um,
Uh,
and you got Squall and Aerith and
mm-hmm.
the Traverse Town gang.
The Destiny Island gang.
Yeah, you
The
get Tidus there. He's just like, hey,
little twerp.
you're in the little that little twerp.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tidus and Waka, and then Selphie from 8. So we have
Mhm.
two Final Fantasy X characters and then a Final Fantasy 8 character. It's like, okay, you couldn't just have I don't know, like I don't know, someone else, but apparently not.
Right.
You gotta have
So, what other worlds are there that we didn't talk about yet? From this one?
well, okay, well, Destiny Islands I guess counts as a world
Yeah.
technically. We have
Which
we
is
have
okay. It's quaint.
it's a nice little tutorial level,
Yeah.
right? So I would say okay. So let's see. We have the first three that we mentioned. So we get Tarzan, Alice in
Oh, we
Wonderland,
got Agrabah.
uh, Agrabah,
Uh,
Traverse Town itself. What did you think about Traverse Town, though?
Traverse sounds pretty cool. I mean, I love the music.
Yeah,
The music hits.
yeah, it's great.
Just
It's like a 40-second loop that never gets old.
it's true.
It's seriously.
Yeah.
My dad when I was playing the games when I was living at home, my dad would love me hanging out in Traverse Town because he loved the music. He's just like, this is great.
And I love simple and clean long before I played the game. Like there's
Yeah.
something weirdly nostalgic about this game as someone who didn't play it growing up. There's some weird nostalgia to it because I used to go on these like be part of this community online even before ours. There's like we make our little websites, and I know one person would always have simple and clean. Or no, I think I put simple and clean on my website. It's like the background music when you turn that thing on. It just goes when you walk away.
I mean, it slaps. I mean, it's a great song.
And it just
You
feels
know?
like that era, you know. It just brings you back.
Yeah, yeah, for
But so
sure. It's
that
very like it does hit that 2000s like real hard for sure.
so that track,
Yeah.
those tracks really, they're solid. They deserve credit again as these things we've gotten used to. So it's just like, oh, that's simple and clean, you know. But
Yeah.
give it its flowers. Agrabah was pretty good. Again, all these are none are spectacular until the last two. To me, all the other ones are
Yeah.
like okay, they're serviceable,
Hollow Bastion.
but they really just serve as like places to just mash enemies nonstop, you know. And they're pretty vacant, you know. Like Agrabah is
Oh,
just a ton of enemies, and you're just like, there's no people just living their life around here, you know. It's just horrible.
yeah. Everyone's just hiding in their little houses.
So it's just I get to
Um,
constantly like new respawning enemies, and here they are again.
I'm just trying to think of worlds that we may have forgotten. We did Monster, right? Oh, Neverland. You know, Neverland,
Right.
where you're just running around in a
Not
ship the whole time.
not ideal.
Not not ideal.
And they would try to
No,
pass that
it's
off
not one
as
of
a
my
world. That's
favorites.
not a damn world. There's like
This is
there's nothing to it. It's a ship.
until you get to the clock tower.
Yeah, and then you're
Did
on a
you
clock
did
tower.
Yeah? Did you do any of the bonus? I'm assuming you probably didn't do any like the secret bosses or anything like that.
I didn't even know are there secret bosses.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot. Yeah, there's tons. There's
What?
Kurt Ziza and Agrabah. There's the I don't remember what it's called. There's one in Neverland where you go back to, and that one's like super hard.
So is it
I'm
like when you
assuming
go
you.
back after the fact?
Mhm.
After you like
Yeah, I
beat
think it's like
the
when.
world?
Yeah, it's after you beat the world. I don't remember exactly when they unlock. I think it's after you open the doorway to the end of the world. Um,
Okay.
the last world in the game. I think once you get that,
Yeah, because they
once
do
you do
say
that,
something like maybe you should go revisit these worlds. There's other stuff there.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. You can go fight Sephiroth
Okay.
and probably get your keister handed to you.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what attributes you chose at the beginning of the game.
So what were the
So
options? It was
there's sword, shield, and wand or staff. Sword, shield, and staff. So you can take yeah.
I definitely did sword.
You
I
take
mean,
one and
I definitely
get
go
rid of the
sword.
other.
Almost every game, I always go
Yeah.
like the sword or the equivalent to that if there's ever an option like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic.
So did you know? I mean, I'm assuming you probably didn't know this stuff. This is fun getting to talk this about you, but that completely affects your growth throughout the game.
Like my hormones.
Yes, your hormones. Yes,
Oh
Sora gets
god.
beefier. He takes human growth hormone if you give him the
His like
sword,
voice gets
and
deeper for certain ones.
his voice gets deeper. Yeah, it's like in the later games, it'll get deeper, like it is in the later games. No, so like the abilities that you're unlocking as you level up,
Mm,
that's affected by what you decide to take and then what you decide to give up.
okay.
Your growth is completely different depending on the things that you choose. So, um, I think the generally recognized one of the generally recognized best things to do, I think, is take shield. I think it's take shield and drop one of the others. But taking shield is important because I think that one gives you one of the abilities that saves you from dying from like a big hit.
Hmm.
I think kind of early on,
That would
which
help.
can make bosses less frustrating.
Yeah.
So, but you beat the game, so you can
I
beat the
did it.
game however wherever you want.
Yeah.
But that's just like a fun little thing for like future playthroughs where you could be like, I'm gonna take staff and drop, I don't know, a sword or something like that. So
Okay. What else? So there's the Coliseum also, which is like
yep,
kind of a side world, but you know, it's it's kind of like
Olympus is fun. It's just a tournament. It's
yeah,
just a
it's
tournament
kind
bracket.
of low
It's great.
key one of the better ones, just because it
It's because it's
it draws
yeah.
attention to the combat, whereas the other ones like you're in a town, so it's noticeable when it's like a vacant town, it's like a ghost town, and you're
Yeah.
fighting enemies in it. This one is you're just fighting people, so it's like okay, well,
Yeah.
don't have to worry about anything
Yeah,
else.
focusing on the combat. Yeah, I think one of the reasons I like Agrabah in this game in particular is because you get to go explore the Cave of Wonders and do that stuff. That's fun. I like going in there.
Yeah,
Aladdin is like low key probably I would say one of my, if not my favorite, like classic Disney movie. Beauty and the
yeah,
Beast is obviously way up there too. I've talked about that in the past, but Aladdin is like always been like right up there with it. So getting to kind of mess around in Agrabah is fun. I would say, yeah, it's a little desolate, a little for the
yeah.
people. But that's honestly a problem that plagues the series pretty much for the whole time. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so I think we covered most of the Disney world. So it comes down to the final
yeah,
two, Hollow Bastion and the End of the World, which ironically I think are the best worlds, considering it's a game that's about like going to different Disney worlds since the two
yeah.
original ones.
Hollow Bastion's probably my, if outside the Disney worlds, I would say Hollow Bastion's my favorite easily.
I could see
It's
that.
very
I could
cool.
see that. I think End of the World might nudge it
Yeah.
out for me just because like the simplicity with it makes it more effective. And then, like I said, it's not like a bunch of empty buildings. It's like it's straight up End of the World stuff. So, and I liked
Mm.
the execution of a lot of it. I liked how they like did it was like really intense and creepy at times. Though for me, like I mentioned, especially my gut reaction, I'm not feeling it now all this time later, but my gut reaction was like, dang, that went from really cool to really frustrating, like really quick for me. It just felt like it was never ending. And the bosses were so annoying to me. Those last couple bosses in that whole sequence was like hell to me. It was like let it end.
So we're talking about like the Ansem Secret of Darkness fights. I'm
Yeah,
guessing
like
like
the
the
starting with the one that where it takes you back to Destiny Island, and then basically from then on, like
mhm,
this
yeah,
gauntlet of
boss fights.
it's just
Yeah,
very infuriating. Like the one where you're in the air, towards like one of the final ones, where you're in the air slashing them, and you have those orbs of lightning attacking you. That was fucking killing my my psyche.
yeah, yeah. You have to like run. You have to like fly around the ship and like break all the things that are making the orbs. But it's just very annoying because yeah, I mean, there's just stuff firing at you all the time. Even when you're breaking them, there's still stuff like firing at you all the time. So it's like make it stop, make it end. It's just the whole time.
Yeah, and then every time you think it's over, they kept doing
Yeah.
that. They love doing the no, it's not actually over. It's not actually over. I'm like okay, okay, end of the world type shit. But I
Um,
still appreciate it for what it did. I really liked certain things it did, and Hollow Bastion was cool as well.
music, sound effects, vocal performances.
Hmm.
Anything, any of that?
Donald Duck, my goat.
Yeah, Donald Duck, my boy. There he is.
Oh yeah, I love the sound effects. I mean, I love the menu sound effects, like
Oh, it's
those,
oh, it's so chunky. I love it. I
yeah.
love the coop, 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 bleep. No, it's just yeah. I love that. Like there's like
Yeah,
a heft to it. I don't know. That's hard to describe, but it's like there's a
yeah, and so yeah, the
yeah.
music is really good. The voice acting is okay. I mean, Sora is like exactly how you expect him to sound. Little
Yeah,
brat.
he's just a little brat, a little Haley Joel Osment. Just there he is. He's just a little guy. That's all he
But
is.
Donald or Goofy is obviously the
Yeah,
king.
Goofy is
The
king. Yeah.
fucking. I mean, it's a thing with like all these kinds of RPGs, especially action RPGs. Like the sounds they make when they're getting hit over and over, it's the same sound. The freaking boil.
Boyle.
It's
Yeah, I love
just
Boyle. Boyle is one of
nonstop.
my favorites.
And those fucking
Boyle.
I don't know if I just didn't set them up right or what, but they were fucking useless. These partners.
Now you know. Now
Like
you know the pain, the struggle of Donald.
they're
Donald
cannon
just
fodder.
fucking healing Goofy. He's just healing Goofy out here, and it's just like Donald, I'm dying. Heal me, please. And he doesn't have any MP left, and then yeah,
Yeah, it's like
and then he's dead
they're straight
immediately
up
anyway.
cannon fodder. I'm like,
They are basically, yeah,
I give them potions. I gave them potions one time. They burnt through all of them
yeah,
in 10 minutes.
yeah. You don't,
like
yeah,
like
yeah.
Goofy
You
has
learn that really
20.
quickly.
Goofy has 25 slots. Burn them all. And like, what were you
On
doing? You
himself.
contributed nothing. Like I was single handedly killing all of these guys, and especially the bosses. Is like, God help me. They're dead instantly. And
God help me.
we're flying. I'm flying around. These guys are nowhere to be found. They're dead, floating in the air.
Did you use did you utilize like summons at all?
No.
You didn't? Oh, okay.
Are they
Because
good?
Tinkerbell is
I
like
used one.
Tinkerbell is like completely is like totally busted.
Really?
She basically constantly heals you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Tinkerbell's great. I think she also can. I don't remember if it's like for a distinct period of time, or if it's just complete. She consistently just heals and heals and heals you until you get like a hit that like would kill you, and then she like brings you back to full health and disappears. I don't remember exactly how that mechanic works, but yeah, Tinkerbell's really great. Particularly if you're getting murdered, weighted. The original game, I'm trying to remember what other summons are really good in the original game. Because there's like
Well, because I remember
there's
trying.
Tinkerbell, but
I remember trying
Bambi,
the
Genie.
lion. Who was the Lion King one? Mufasa.
Oh, Simba.
Simba. And
It's just Simba.
and
Yeah.
he didn't like do anything for me. So I was like, okay, these guys are probably useless, huh?
I actually don't even remember what Simba does. I don't, because that's not one that I've used very frequently.
But it was like at the time he was like the only one I had. It was like the first one, and then
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah, you
okay,
get
he's
him
probably
really
not
early
worth
on.
my time then, because it's like he seemed to not do much. So I wish I knew that though. Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell just heals you and gets jealous when other women are around.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, Bambi. There's Bambi. That's right. I think Bambi just like drops a bunch of orbs, which can also itself actually be kind of broken.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mushu, I don't remember does.
I'd probably give myself a secret difficulty increase then by not doing these things.
You may have. Also by not necessarily having the holy trio of second chance. Was it second chance? Once more and oh crap! What's the one that lets you heal even while you're getting killed? Shoot.
I don't know. Sounds like something I didn't have.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Might not have been.
But I'm not that kind of gamer. I guess I don't like having to mess too much with that. Like I did as much as possible. Was like customizing, but I don't like too much customization, like in menus.
Well, it's not. Yeah, there's not like that much
in
that game really, but there's a lot of ability stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I could definitely see why this could be such an important game for people, and especially with nostalgia, how effective it was, like growing up on this game. But having beaten it for the first time in 2023, it just doesn't work for me as much, you know.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like if they spent time to like remake the game. I almost wonder if that's something that's like a possibility in the future. To me, it seems like Square Enix is more interested in just moving forward with like new games in the franchise rather than necessarily like remaking any of them. But like I almost wonder like what a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake would look like. And I feel like it would probably iron out a lot of kind of the awkward stuff and but definitely would try to like remedy some of the issues with the Disney worlds. But like to me, that's like I they probably never can, for a lot of different reasons, like licensing things with like Tarzan. There's a reason Tarzan's never been in another Kingdom Hearts game.
What's that?
So because Tarzan is owned by the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate, and I think every single time that game gets released, I think they still have to pay the royalty fee on that. But I don't think that's like, yeah, I just don't think that's something that they're like interested in continuing to do.
I mean,
So that
and that level can go fuck itself too. So I hated
oh, that level makes no sense. That level makes no sense. Where you have to specifically go to different like areas in a way that the game doesn't tell you. Like, hey, you need to like go here, and then this will trigger this event to happen.
God.
And then you have to go all the way back to trigger something else, and then you have to. It's a very frustrating.
Like, what am I doing here? This is like one of your first like, the first impressions, like one of the first worlds you get in the game. And that and Alice in Wonderland, which like I need them to stop trying to make Alice in Wonderland happen. It's not happening for me. All these Disney games, everything they always shove Alice in Wonderland down your throat immediately. Disney Magical World on the 3DS, Alice in Wonderland is one of the first worlds there too.
Oh yeah,
and it's like I do not care. Sorry,
you're not a big Alice in Wonderland fan. I actually don't know if I've ever sat down and watched the original movie.
No, neither.
I saw the track. Maybe yeah. Well, I don't know. I saw the Johnny Depp abomination. It's not his fault. It's Tim Burton's really.
Well, I'll never forgive him. Not for
never.
that.
I'll never forgive him for that. It's yeah, that movie's like maybe one of the ugliest movies ever made.
Shout out.
And also just really annoying and frustrating. And I remember thinking it was like okay, like kind of like cool at the time, and then I saw it once, and then the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, boy, I'm sure glad I don't have to watch that movie ever again.
So yeah, I'm a huge Disney fan too, and just a lot of these worlds felt uninspired. You know, it wasn't like, ooh, I'm thrust into a Disney world. Like I'm loving this. First of all, you know, they have some of the properties I just didn't care about to begin with, and then even the ones like Agrabah, I was like, okay, until the Cave of Wonders is a little more there, but when you're actually in the town, it's like, okay, I guess we're here.
What about here's another world. What about Winnie the Pooh, the mini game collection?
I didn't do much in there, honestly. Is it good?
I love. No, it's not good. I love Winnie the Pooh. I love Winnie the Pooh though. That's the what I'm just like I love Winnie the Pooh, and that's like the only reason for me to just. Oh yeah. I mean, I guess maybe I've never really talked about that in the channel. But I love Winnie the Pooh. I'm a big like. It hits me like. Yeah, oh bother! It hits me like in the
tummy.
I'm like 4.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a dummy. No, it hits me like I'm like 4 years old.
Tummy, not you're a dummy.
I mean, I am that too, but it does hit me in the tummy. It does hit me a little bit in the tummy, and in my heart also. Yeah. I'm very fond of Winnie the Pooh.
My mom was a big fan of Winnie the Pooh, and all the gang down 100 Acre Wood. I did like the book. Yeah. You know, I like it's a cute little book. You walk around on the pages and go through. But yeah, I guess I didn't get enough of it to do anything meaningful there.
I just didn't get enough. I didn't get enough Pooh action.
Not enough Pooh. 6.8 out of 10.
That's the IGN review of Kingdom Hearts 1. Pooh would have saved it. Pooh's the key to all this.
Yeah, it actually too much water actually works for this. Fuck that world.
Too much.
Fuck that little world.
Atlantica. Oh yeah.
Like that was like all these levels are weirdly horrendous to navigate. These ones we mentioned.
Weirdly horrendous.
Like the Tarzan one. This one. They're just rough.
So, you know what would have made it better, Zach?
Yeah.
Did you know in the original PS2 version, do you know what controlled the camera?
The right stick.
L2 and R2.
Oh.
The right stick did not control the camera in the original game.
Okay.
The right stick was just another D-pad. It was like another menu button.
Interesting. That would have made it better? How would that
Uh-huh.
make it better?
No, it wouldn't have made it better.
Okay.
It would have made it infinitely worse. It's so bad. I
Yeah.
played the game originally on the PS2 in that way in like 2010, and I was like, this is
But you ate it up.
not a very good control scheme, but
You loved
this
it, though.
is not a very. I did love it. I really enjoyed it. I did all the bonus content with that control scheme too. I did it all. I did all Kurt Ziza and Sephiroth. I did all that crap.
All right.
So yeah.
I mean, ultimately, 6.8 out of 10 is probably what I would give it, somewhere around there.
Ouch.
I mean,
Owie.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're on a scale from 1 to 10, I guess that's not terrible.
It didn't age like fine wine, you know. I can only
Yeah.
judge what I just experienced for the first time.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair score. It's
Maybe
your score, and
maybe I would like the future ones better, you know. I think I would like to go through them. I mean, I got the whole collection here.
sure.
So that's Kingdom Hearts final mix, to be exact.
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody says don't
Be
play
precise.
Chain of Memories. Next.
I say play Chain of Memories. I'm a weirdo. I like that game a lot. So
I could see it being one of those things where like I wouldn't have the patience to get through if it's not something I like, but by my nature, that's the one I want to play next, just because it's like I got the whole collection here. It's the next one in order.
Yeah.
That's how I like to do things. But we'll see.
It's just weird. I mean, if you like cards, if you like deck building, it's and even if you don't, it's if you don't,
also.
No, if you don't, here's the thing. If you don't, plenty of strategies to cheese your way through that game online.
I'll cheese it.
If you do, you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle where I'm not like the biggest fan of like I love card games, but I'm like the biggest fan of card games. Like, but I like that game a lot. I like the weird blend of action card deck building. It's a weird game, but it's fun.
I like some card games. I've never gotten super into them, and I've never been super into like customizing my own deck. Even on like a lot of these games where they'll have like a side mode where it's like you have this organize a deck of cards and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to be bothered with that. Even Bug Fables has like a side mode where there's like a card.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, it's like a card game, and you can organize some decks and stuff. But I always just like do whatever I need to get by. You know, I don't want to have to go through like pick out the perfect deck. Honestly. But speaking of cards, I want to play Baten Kaitos, the new one.
Yeah.
Re-release.
Yeah, didn't that just get re-released? And like I've heard very little fanfare, but is it like out?
It is out. It is out. My brother was always a big fan. We had it on the GameCube. He was always a big fan of Baten Kaitos. It's a very niche thing, but he was always a big fan of it. You know, I played a little bit. I remember liking it at the time, but just was never as into it as him and never finished him. But it's like a card-based battle system, so could be cool.
It's some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard.
Really?
The original game does, yeah. It's pretty amazing, actually, how bad it is. I think they fixed it for the re-release. I think they've just used the Japanese dub for the re-release, but I don't know that for certain. But
yeah, in terms of the Gents challenge, I think we had like something like 8 Supreme Gents, 5 Gents. Pretty dang good.
Yeah. A lot of games being beaten. I think was it East Gilliam had like the stat where it was like the crazy stat where it was like how many games got beaten or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been Josh Prep may have said that too.
East Gilliam said it.
But yeah. 13 challengers, 26 games.
One. Oh.
Only 5 games out of those 26 were not finished.
And
I have 21 games finished. Yeah.
Is that the coveted the 100% was like what would we call it, like 100 and 200% completion rate Gents challenge one day where everybody is a Supreme Gent? That's the coveted like holy grail we're going for for the rest of the time.
That's like yeah, that is the hidden gem, the
Mhm.
hidden gem, the holy grail for sure. I don't know if that's
It will
possible,
never
and maybe
happen.
someday. It'll probably never happen. You know, it's a shame because I see in the oh no, was it in here? Yeah, choose your own pairings. Thanos played Full Throttle, and he also had Day of the Tentacle.
Mhm.
He could have beaten Day of the Tentacle. That game's not that long.
Right.
Whereas Kingdom Hearts Boy had Persona 5 Royal. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any way unless he like sat down and devoted like weeks of his life. I
Yeah.
don't think there was any way that he could possibly beat that in time.
The
But
way we could get 100% Supreme Gents if it was like all games like Telltale games kind of thing,
yeah,
like stuff like
yeah,
that. Or
yeah.
like, I mean, you would think like the indie challenge too, but we didn't get anywhere near 100% Supreme, so it just never
Yeah.
realistically would happen. But you gotta have
Mhm.
that, you know, that carrot on a string to keep the workers motivated here. You see,
Mm.
we can't have achieved the ultimate high and never achieve anything like it again. Absolutely not.
There's just like a lot of like solid games being beaten here too. We had um Pestro beat Ghost of Tsushima and Lies of P, which just came out.
Yeah.
Um Orion 89, Jack 3, and Resident Evil Revelations 2. I've been making my way through the Resident Evil games, and I keep forgetting about the Revelations. I need to make sure that I add Revelations 1 and 2 to my list of games to beat in that series.
Yeah. And Orion 89,
Um,
it's the first time Gents Challenger, and he went out and killed it immediately.
yeah,
Nailed it.
good for him. Yeah, I think they did. I'm trying to remember what if he was one of the earliest ones to be done, but
I think he was the earliest, if I'm not mistaken.
he might have been.
He might have beaten his two games
Um,
before like anyone else even
yeah,
came in.
yeah,
That'd be good.
just like destroyed. Yeah. Um, that Boss Chaz, Ace Attorney Investigations, which I've heard he had the Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations. That's fun, as well as Lunar 2. I think because I think I had him. Was it him that I had play Lunar 1? I'm trying to remember. I thought I had him play the first Lunar.
Hmm.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering. But I know I had somebody play the first Lunar recently. I could probably find that out in
Not sure.
somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. We could check that.
But I didn't see that. Oh yeah, Holy Hand Grenade had Detroit Become Human, but Broken Age also, which is interesting. I haven't heard people talk about that game in a long time,
Hmm.
basically since it came out. Um, yeah, just like tons of pretty solid games here though, like Super Mario Sunshine, Bayonetta 2. Josh Prep had Bayonetta 2. Kingdom Hearts Boy obviously had Mario Sunshine. A good mix of like old and new. I would say it's like leaning more on the new, but we also had stuff like, well, we had like Full Throttle, like I said, Thanos, but
Thanos.
Thanos. We like Sea of Stars, which just came out this year. Soul at that. Ninja Penguin, Metro Exodus, and Carrion. Krillin Ball Z with the original Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Shadow Eternia with The Order 1886, which is a game that I have not played, but I've heard many a funny thing about that game. Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time. I don't think it's not intentionally funny. It was not that game's not intended to be funny,
Yeah.
but he seemed to really enjoy it. So it's interesting seeing the sort of reappraisal of that game has been interesting. I may have to just give it a shot at some point because I think it's very cheap now.
Hmm.
Um, Lots of really great games beat. It's just crazy. So let's see the games that weren't beaten: Pizza Tower, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, Day of the Tentacle Remastered, Persona 5 Royal, and Saints Row the Third.
That's right.
Lots of really solid things played and beaten by everybody. Great freaking job, if you do say so
Great
myself.
job. Great effort. And
Yeah.
Alec, are you going to participate in the next one?
I will participate in the next one. In the meantime, my penance, which I agreed upon, is going to be getting the platinum trophy in Balan Wonderworld. I talked about this on our podcast as well recently, but I did want to at least bring up let's just look at some little statistics on PSN profiles. The average completion on people who have registered PSN profiles accounts, which is obviously for tracking things like trophies, is 19%. There's only 6,131 game owners, so I'm not going to run the numbers there, but what is so? I'm not sure. It's difficult for me to like. I don't know what it means when you hover over something on PSN profiles. I don't know, like you hover over like a stat, and the number changes. So I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
I think so. I think what it means is people who have registered PlayStation, the PSN profiles accounts, is what the number is presently. When you hover over it, I think that's all people on PSN that have that game. So the Platinum Trophy has a 0.7% completion rate of all people that own the game on PSN. So yeah. I somehow haven't completed every Act 3. I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, work to do.
I have to collect every gold Balan statue. That's really, really hard. That's probably going to be the last thing that I do. If not the Tim, the Isle of Tims, I gotta create the Ultimate Tim. I gotta do. There's so many freaking things I have to do, and it's gonna have to happen. Let me just look at the trophy guide also, just while I'm here. It has a 4 out of 10 difficulty, but it is estimated to be 40 hours long. I'll tell you right now that I haven't played that much of the game, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you
tips and strategies. Some costumes will disable your ability to jump or attack. There's a hidden hard mode. Unlocked if you manage to defeat several enemies without dying or losing a costume. You'll know it worked when all the enemies turn red. Oh yeah, okay. I know that. I think I'd found that out when I was playing the game. I was like, oh, alright.
So you have a couple months to do that one, is what you're saying? That's your deadline?
Yeah, so before the next Gents challenge starts is my deadline. Otherwise, I don't know what's gonna. I mean, I don't know what my punishment would be if I don't complete this. An extra punishment, like what the heck? Maybe I'll have to complete. Maybe I'll have to be Supreme Gent in order to be considered a Gent, and or maybe have to beat 3 games in order to be a Supreme Gent.
Don't fuck up the whole statistics.
It would screw everything up, so we can't do that. I don't know what the punishment if I don't fulfill it will be, but I have no reason not to. Dubs watched me, who we've had on our show before, watched me play through the original Balan Wonderworld. He enjoyed watching me play it, even though we both agreed that the game overstayed its welcome, probably by about 4 or 5 levels. But hopefully he will be a pal and give me company while I grind out the platinum in that game. Though he might get sick and tired because of the there's these things called balance bouts, which are like the quick time event things. You have to do all of them. You can't skip them. If you fail them, you have to I think you have to reload the whole game. I think you have to quit out of the whole game and load back into the game in order to respawn the ability to do that. So which means you have to navigate all the way through the level again to get to it. And then if you fail it again, then you have to go. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's not.
Well, so stay tuned for that. I mean, so the next time you'll hear us talking about a Gents challenge will be in February, 2 months.
Yeah.
That's right. It'll start in February. In the meantime, though, we are is in the works. We're going to be doing another Film Buff challenge. It looks like. I asked everybody on the Discord which one would you most be interested in. I had Film Buffs Challenge 2. I had Scholars Challenge 2, which was the book one we did years ago. And then I had the Muses Challenge, which would be a music Gents challenge, which we haven't done on the Discord. But ultimately, people seem to be most interested in the Film Buffs Challenge for now.
Yeah, I think it's just it's just a nice, easy thing to do. I think to plan for, because everyone already has like their list made up and everything, So I think that's a nice thing to.
It seemed like everybody had a great time with it. It was a lot of fun because there was regular activity in there, and everybody was posting their letterboxed reviews. It was a lot of fun. And introduced me to some great movies like I hadn't watched. So
I do like the suggestion of that my friend Troubadour made, that it be the Bards Challenge.
The Bards Challenge, yeah.
Yeah, or the Troubadours Challenge, which is
yeah,
it's his challenge then. But yeah. Anyway,
yeah, it would have to be ironed out. I even said it in there. There was a couple different ways you could go with it. It have to be ironed out. But it doesn't seem like there's quite enough interest in it for now. So we'll see. It's tough because it's not like we always have all the time in the world. We have a cycle every 2 months, the Gents Challenge. There's only really time for one between each. And so it might just end up people want to keep doing the Film Buffs Challenge, which is cool. Either way.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun before. And yeah, so we'll probably just be talking about that on the podcast. We'll mention our progress on that when that comes to pass, which it looks like we'll probably be waiting until January to do it. Last time I did it like halfway through the month into halfway into the next month, just so we'd have a couple weeks buffer between that and the Gents Challenge. But since it's December, holiday season, figure it's probably going to be best to just have it straight January 1st to January 30th, whatever. So
yeah, it makes sense to like it's just a really busy time for a lot of folks. I mean, we have spoilers, but we've got some guests lined up, and I know that a lot of that's a consideration there as well. Just trying to make sure that the holidays are over and done with, so that all that stress is kind of, they don't have to worry about like making an extra appearance or anything like that somewhere, so.
And then for this challenge, having to have an extra thing to juggle possibly on top of it. And then because it would probably turn into most people like cramming the last couple of weeks in January anyway. But so there will be a moment where there's a little overlap between like Film Buffs Challenge going on and like signups will be starting for Gents Challenge at the same time. Or we'll have a poll before that on what the next theme will be and whatnot. So just look forward to that. We'll be doing more fun challenges. I mean, it's great. That's what we like. It gets us to play more games, watch some more movies. That's what we love.
Always a good time. I mean, in the meantime, I did rekindle my enjoyment of video games. I beat a bunch of stuff. I was doing some platinum trophy hunting. So I was doing that on my off hours here. So it was it was still fun. It was still fun to do. But next time I'm back in it. Next time I'll be around.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what to expect, what kind of theme we'll be having there, but we'll see. All right, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this, what video should our viewers watch next?
You should go check out the most recent. No, don't do that.
No.
Go check out our. No, you know what? I'm going back on my going back. Check out the most recent episode of the Tarqaron podcast. We had a lot of discussions, a lot of talk of drama,
Game Awards.
Game Awards. We talked about the Game Awards.
Ironically, our Mario RPG first impressions. Which I spoiled in the beginning here. I mean, not that I care that much, but because it'll be like the next couple of days that we're gonna be doing a Mario RPG review. So, ironically, we usually don't talk about our thoughts on the game if we know we're gonna review it, but we didn't know that we were gonna review it until last second. So we'll see.
Just kind of turned into one of those things we were both playing and both beat it. So.
Because you gotta take that when you get those, you gotta take advantage of that because it's not often we're both able to finish a game. At the same time.
Very true. Very true.
All right.
So,
So thank
all
you for
right.
watching. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, like the video, leave a comment, and if you do, we'll read it on the next episode of the Tarqaron podcast. Click the link in the description for our social media and hit that notification bell. Take care of yourself.